Foyle Sports Sound with Desi McCallion.
Good afternoon and welcome to Foyle Sports Sound. I'm Desi McCallion. Despite being in the midst of European competition, Derry City now begin the defence of their FAI Cup with a home tie against Athlone Town. We've just kicked off. We'll cross to our commentary team of Liam Foyle. And first of all, Eric White.
Thank you very much, Desi. Well, 3 days on from making unnecessarily hard work of beating HB Tórshavn to reach round 2 of the Europa Conference League, the cup holders will be hoping for a more straightforward afternoon to seal their place in the last 16 of the FAI Cup. We are indeed underway here at a sunny Brandywell Stadium with partly cloudy, no wind, much smaller crowd than was here in attendance for the match on Thursday night. Derry City in their home colours, playing from right to left against Athlone Town, who are in blue and black. We'll give you a rundown on the two teams in just a moment, but Athlone, of course, a name that will forever haunt those involved in the climax to the 1995 league season, come here currently sitting fourth in the First Division. And that leads me nicely into my co-commentator this evening, as usual, Liam Foyle, who lifted this trophy, of course, 3 times as a player. And Liam, another cup run, of course, will be high on Rory Higgins' priorities. It has the potential to be an awkward match, this, but Derry will be expected to come through unscathed.
Well, you would think so, Eric. A team sitting fourth in the First Division. Derry made 7 changes, so they're going to be fresh enough. So there's really no excuses. It should be a straightforward one get on the next round for this here.
And Derry with possession of the ball inside the Athlone half with Sadou Diallo, their goal scoring hero from Thursday night, a goal which banked Derry, guaranteeing them at least another €300,000 in European prize money. As Liam said, 7 changes from that victory, so just the 4 starters from the game here on Thursday night. Ronan Boyce, Will Patching, Sadou Diallo and Cameron McJanet. Not surprising, with the next encounter in Europe against Coops looming on the horizon. The City boss making a raft of changes, so indeed including a debut for Tyg Ryan in the Derry City goal. Boyce, Shane McElhaney, Connolly and Call, the back 4. Diallo, Patching, McAniff in the midfield area. Brandon Kavanagh on the right, Cian Kavanagh and Danny Mullen there as well in the front line. As for Athlone, they've got Enda Minogue in goal. Their back 4 consists of Abdikadir, Hickey, Van Geenen and Lam Tuku. In midfield, it's Campion Hines, McKenna, Connolly, Leal, Pepra and Pirro, who's their main man up front, and he's just run into an offside position. They have a number of foreign players in their team, as you'll gather from that lineup. That's because of a partnership that they have with a US-based club company by the name of Valeo. So they've got a mixture of players that are from Kenya, Haiti, American, Jamaican, Dutch, and quite the lineup for a team here from the First Division. The oldest club in the League of Ireland, founded in 1887. 3.5 minutes gone. Derry just keeping hold of the ball. Of course, the cup holders having won it for a 6th time in the club's history when they beat Shelbourne 4-0 in last year's final at the Aviva Stadium. A record win indeed in an FAI Cup final, and it was their first in a decade. So this is one of 3 ties now that are just remaining of the 16 places, as Will Patching goes for a searching diagonal ball to try and get Boyce away down that right hand side. The other games still to be played, kicking off at the same time of this one, arguably the tie of the round. That's Dundalk against Shamrock Rovers at Oriel Park, and another European team in action, St Patrick's Athletic, who go to Longford Town for a 6 o'clock game. And I suppose on paper, Liam, you know, or on the pitch even, Derry, they're going to beat Athlone 9 times out of 10. It's just about making sure that this isn't that one occasion, and sandwiched in between the two massive European ties, I suppose it's mentally where Rory Higgins will want to make sure his players are at it.
Well, that's exactly right, Derek. It's not about ability here, it's just about being professional, getting the job done. I'm sure since Thursday, since the European tie, Rory has had the team getting them focused, making sure that they don't take their eye off the ball, because we've seen here in the past, teams coming up here and getting a 1-0 win, and you're not expected to come up here and get anything out of it, but if you do things right, you'll win the match.
Call sends one into the penalty area. It's headed away and picked up now by Will Patching, one of the 4 players retained from the 1-0 victory here against HB Tórshavn. Some of the headline results so far from round 1 weekend in the FAI Cup was those all Premier Division ties that took place on Friday night, where Declan Devine's Bohemians beat last year's beaten finalist Shelbourne by 1-0. Drogheda United came from behind to beat Sligo Rovers 2-1. And other Premier Division teams going through: UCD, who beat Cove Ramblers 3-2, and Cork City, who brushed Treaty United aside with a 2-0 victory away from home. Here's Piero now, just looking to send Campion Hines away down this right hand side. He cuts inside his defender, tries to take on the shot. Cole gets the block on, and then it's with McKenna, who pushes it out wide over to the left hand side. Athlone attacking the showgrounds end in the first half, as Ronan Boyce has to stretch in there to divert that ball behind for a corner kick. 7th minute of the game. Derry City 0, Athlone Town 0. First round of the Sports Direct Men's FAI Cup, and with the breeze at their backs, Athlone have forced the first corner, and it's Dan McKenna is going to cross to take it. Spent part of his youth career across the water with Wolves before returning to join Shelbourne, and he will swing this ball in with the far side. Not a great corner at all, and Derry are able to get it away temporarily. Ball played back up towards the edge of the City penalty area. Cole unconvincing clearance, leaves McJanet still with a bit of work to do as he heads it away from outside of the penalty area. McJanet, scorer of 2 goals, of course, in the cup final at the Aviva last November, his last Derry City goals. Now it's with Brandon Kavanagh, who's trying to get Cian Kavanagh away. Kavanagh and Mullen, the front two, and Cian Kavanagh has been fouled, and that wins a free kick for Derry City. Kavanagh's last involvement in a City shirt was to win that penalty against Sligo Rovers in the last league encounter here back on July the 7th, when they got a late spot kick to beat Sligo by 2-1 minutes. Of course, after Ben Doherty had missed, Patching stepped up to tuck it away. Free kick midway inside the Athlone half, and Brandon Kavanagh waiting to get the go-ahead to take the free kick. They feel that one of the Athlone players is not standing 10 yards back. Play continues with the free kick whipped in by Kavanagh. It was Campion Hines, who's got quite a large white bandage strapped on his right arm, and it's out of play for a throw-in on the far side. Some of the news from the Cup already today: there was a couple of all non-league ties involving junior and intermediate sides. Lucan United 2, St Patrick's CY 3. That was a pretty lively game. Lucan had actually equalised in the 89th minute. St Patrick's went up and won it in stoppage time, and Skerries, they beat Portlaoise by 3-0 away from home. So I think it's going to be 3 non-league teams that are remaining in the last 16 of the competition, because Rockmount are also there as well, the FAI Intermediate Cup champions, having beaten Gorey Rangers by 2-1 yesterday. Kieran Call now down the line to Danny Mullen. First taste of FAI Cup action for the Scotsman, who signed a 1.5-year deal earlier this month. Played with Partick, Dundee, St Mirren and Livingston. And here is Sadou Diallo in the midfield area, wearing number 15, of course. Patchy now, looking to pull the strings. Back to Cameron McJanet. Of course, was a frenzy of football here yesterday on finals day in the Foyle Cup. There's been no want of football activity across the city this week, with a mixture of Foyle Cup, European football, and now the FAI Cup. Here's Cole. Finn Harp's one of those teams as well, into the last 16 of the competition. They had a narrow 1-0 win against Kilbarrack United in pretty tough conditions on Friday night. But name in the hat for the next round draw. Here's McJanet. Slow build up for Derry. Athlone with virtually every player back behind the ball. Kavanagh comes in to get a feel for it. Athlone's sole FAI Cup success came in 1924, almost 100 years ago. They have been crowned League of Ireland champions on 2 occasions. Here's Piero now, looking to make things awkward for the Derry defender Cameron McJanet. Feels that the ball came off his arm. Here's Diallo, clips it forward. In more recent times, Athlone actually went to the semi-finals of this competition. It was during the 2020 COVID year, but an occasion they'll quickly want to forget. They were beaten 11-0 by Dundalk at home. Michael Duffy with 2 goals, Patrick McElhinney with 1 goal on that occasion for Dundalk. Haven't been through the history books, Liam, but I would say that's probably the once and only time an 11-0 scoreline in an FAI Cup semi-final.
Well, I can't ever remember, even in the early rounds, Derek, to be quite honest, but and that was at that time. Maybe Dundalk were just hitting their peak at that stage, weren't they, of that team? They were just coming to the end of that peak. So, but that's Athlone down the years. Steep in history, like, really do, especially in Europe, and you go back to.
Here's a off-target effort from Jordan McAnuff. Yeah, you're probably going to bring up the AC Milan game.
Yeah, AC Milan, where John Minnick missed a penalty.
Held the Italian giants scoreless.
Like a lot of Derry men. Dougie Wood was the manager. The likes of Joe Healy and
John Duffy
playing. So like they do have a history. I think it was that match, wasn't it, that actually paid for St. Pat's, wasn't it, after that game, John?
Well, it was the John Minnick
and
transfer.
St. Pat's, yep.
Yeah, that St. Pat's paid for a stand at Richmond Park. 1975. 75. I think was that UEFA Cup tie. And they went to the San Siro. The ball goes right in there on top of the Athlone goalkeeper Eric Minogue, who comfortably gathers. But I think they went to the San Siro and the tie still was 0-0, maybe into the second half. Before Giovanni Trapattoni's team ran out 3-0 winners. 13.5 minutes played here. Derry 0, Athlone 0. Sun shining brightly on the AstroTurf pitch down below us as Patchin assumes control.
Well, the match is just starting to think about a shape now, isn't it? Derry dominating the ball, Athlone dropping in, playing me more or less a 4-5-1 now, like when Derry have the ball. So it's going to be a patient game for Derry here just now. They try and open them up.
I'm not sure if the Open is set up for a fascinating finish or not, but they're on the final stretch, and Brian Harmon is 11 under after 13 holes, so he's just dropped a shot. Here's Danny Mullen, and that's going to be a corner kick, but there's 3 players behind him, 4 shots behind. Tom Kim, Straka and John Ram all on 7 under. McIlroy's in the clubhouse at 6 under, a 68. His wait for a major is going to stretch to a 10th year. Just didn't happen for him over the weekend, but that today his best round of the 4, but nowhere near enough to get up to challenge Harmon, it would look, as the corner kick comes in, and it's gathered by Eric Minnick, the 21-year-old in bright yellow. The Dubliner came through the underage ranks at St Joseph's Boys before making his senior debut for Bray Wanderers in the 2018 season. He's also previously on the books of Bows. Down below us, Abdikadir can't keep the ball, and Derry have it back again. Diallo floated, weighted pass for Jordan McAniff. Wasn't involved in either of the two European legs. McAniff tees it up here for Patchin. Patchin shapes to shoot. Now takes on the shot, but Lille was there to close him down. The American, who came through the youth ranks of a number of clubs in Portugal, and they send it up now towards the halfway line to Piero, who has 15 goals this season for them in the first division of the League of Ireland. That's 10 behind the leading marksman Ronan Coughlin of Waterford. Piero second in the goal scoring charts, but no matter what, 15 goals, it's decent hitting.
It really is, I think, isn't it, for a team like Athlone?
23 games into their season, they've won 10, drawn 2, lost 11, and have 32 points. They're sitting in fourth. Call into the penalty area, away by the big centre half. They do look pretty nailed on for one of the 4 playoff positions in the first division. Here's McKenna now, goes to ground, and a bit of a scrap there with McAniff, so that's going to be a free kick for the Midlanders. We've passed the quarter hour mark here, 16 and a half minutes gone on the clock. Still 0-0. Derry have not been drawn away in a cup tie since losing to Finn Harps in the last 16 of the competition back in August 2021, which obviously was their last defeat in this competition as well, having won it last year. Here's Campion Hines, stopped in his tracks down the far left hand side. Yeah, they got home draws all the way to the final last year. Oliver Bond Celtic in the first round, then it was Cork City, Shamrock Rovers and Treaty United. And beginning this campaign with, on paper, what looks like a favourable home draw as well in the opening round of the competition. Here's Kavanagh, nice little ball in towards Cian Kavanagh. He was looking for the foul on the edge of the box. The referee's given it in favour of the visitors. So Minogue will come out and take. Derry City with Europe very much on their mind, of course. That 2-legged tie against Coops from Finland to come up. The home leg on Thursday night, 7:45 kickoff. We'll be on the air from 7:30. The return leg then is in Finland a week later. Kieran Cole eager to get on with things quickly, taking the throw in midway inside his own half, and it's with McJanet now. McJanet to Shane McElhinney, recalled for this cup tie. Will Patching. That penalty that he scored against Sligo Rovers, his only goal of the season so far, the league anyhow. Here's Cole, scored in the President's Cup at the start of the season. Cian Kavanagh goes towards the corner flag, away to our left hand side, struggling to just get his balance here. The referee feels that he's had too much of Patrick Hickey there, and a big centre half for Athlone wins the free kick. What have you made of it so far, Liam? Almost 20 minutes gone.
Well, it's no surprise Derry are dominating the ball in front of Athlone. They're not really getting them behind. They're trying to drag Athlone out. To be fair to Athlone, they're keeping their shape well enough. But the only thing I will say, it's a hot enough day, and the pitch maybe is sticky. They've tried to water it, but for me, it's just too slow. It's too slow. There's no real no real tempo in their play at all. You know, it's and Athlone will be happy. They let them have it in them positions because they're not really harming them. So I think Rory will be trying to say to his team, right, we got to inject a bit more pace than they were playing here.
Limerick are the All-Ireland hurling champions for the 4th year in a row. Kilkenny 215, Limerick 0-30. The final score there from Croke Park, and a pretty convincing win in the end for Limerick. Here's Kieran Call now, just in the shadow of the Mark Farron stand down below us. Plays it infield for Diallo. Little reverse pass to Brandon Kavanagh now, who's trying to keep himself busy running around the fringes of the Athlone penalty area. Could be an afternoon when Derry might have to be patient in their attempts to try and unlock this Athlone defence. Here is Danny Mullen now, turns, he's got himself inside the box. Mullen's done well, pulls it across, but no Derry City player there, and it's been well defended in the end by Van Gien, the Dutch centre half. But just a little moment of ingenuity there from
that just looked
Mullen.
as if it was going nowhere, Eric, and all of a sudden Mullen just found himself in a bit of space, just goes down the outside his marker and then tries to pull it back, and it's well defended again by Athlone. But
balls into that box, Kavanagh's there, he goes down, referee's a decision to make, and he points to the penalty spot. Brandon Kavanagh fouled by Van Gien inside the 6-yard area, and the referee Oliver Moran says that's a penalty, and Derry have the perfect opportunity now to go in front.
Oh, it's a penalty all day long, isn't it, Eric? Van Gien just gets the wrong side of Kavanagh, and then the bunch takes it away from him, and Brandon Kavanagh's been very, very clever. Just gets his body in front of him, and he knows Van Gien was trying to come round and get the ball, and bundles them to the ground. But Will Patching's just stepping up here.
Yeah, at the Brandywell Road end, Patching, who scored his last penalty here against Sligo Rovers on July the 7th, has an opportunity now to put Derry in front. Scored from the penalty spot on the cup run last year against Cork City in round 2. Now he's up against Eric Minogue in the Athlone town goal. Up he steps, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, into the back of the net, and Derry hit the frontier, the holders in this cup tie against First Division Athlone. Perfectly dispatched penalty from Will Patching, no mistake, and it's Derry City 1, Athlone Town 0.
Good penalty, just stops, and he's run up here, Minogue and Athlone goes to his left. Patchy sticks it to his right hand side, gives him no chance.
23 minutes on the clock for Patching's goal. His second in domestic cup competitions, in domestic competitions this season, and Derry lead by 1-0, and that will ease the tension a little bit around the Brandywell as they go in front past the midpoint of the first half. That big tussle between Dundalk and Shamrock Rovers at Oriel Park, it's 0-0, with Longford against St Patrick's Athletic to come later on this evening. That one kicks off at 6 o'clock. Here's Shane McElhinney to Diallo. Derry with a very strong bench this evening as well, should it be required. Michael Duffy, Patrick McElhinney, Mark Connolly, Jamie McGonigal, Paul McMullen, Ben Doherty, Cameron Dummigan, all players who started on Thursday night. Brian Maher there as well as Callum McKay. Here is Will Patching now, clips it over that right hand side. Kavanagh did so well for the penalty, Brandon Kavanagh that is. Here he is now having a goal pushed away by Minogue. Cian Kavanagh looking to follow up. Athlone get it away, but wonderful trickery from Brandon Kavanagh, who's looked so lively in the opening 25 minutes of this game, and from the far angle of the penalty area he just caressed that one with his left boot, and the goalkeeper at full stretch to push it away.
Yeah, good save from the keeper. And Cian Cavanagh's just caught on his heels, Derek. You know, just can't get the ball out from underneath his feet. Can't adjust himself, and then Athlone just managed to clear it. But that goal now is just settled Derry down. Now you can see now they're starting to push a few more bodies, starting to have a few more runners beyond Cavanagh up front, and Athlone are starting to struggle with that pace now.
Dundalk take the lead at Oriel Park against Shamrock Rovers, so 1-0 there as Diallo goes towards the corner flag. Few questions being asked of Shamrock Rovers right now. Their league form sticky to say the least, and of course exited rather meekly from the Champions League, losing to Breiðablik from Iceland. And of course the consequences of that is having dropped down to the Europa Conference League. They have found themselves playing the Hungarian side Ferencváros, who actually beat them last year. That's because Ferencváros lost to Klaksvik from the Faroe Islands. So Shamrock Rovers at this this crucial point in the season, find themselves 1-0 down as well in that FAI Cup tie against Stephen O'Donnell's Dundalk in a repeat of the 2020 final. Cameron McJanet with the defensive header to cut out the run of Campion Hines. Now here's Kieran Cole or Will Patching. Back to McJanet again here. Cole now looks for the runners up ahead of him. Jordan McAniff chases after this one, but the goalkeeper Minogue is out to claim it. Rory Higgins will be feeling pretty at ease with himself now that his team have got their noses in front here. Of course, guiding the club to, well, his first trophy as a manager, but the club's 6th FAI Cup success last November, and joining a list of names which include Jim McLaughlin, Felix Healy, Kevin Mahan, Stephen Kenny and Declan Devine as FAI Cup winning managers. They haven't played Athlone since the 2014 season, when Athlone were in the top flight. Last meeting actually finished in a draw here between the two sides, 1 each. Rory Patterson scored for Derry. Derry won the 2 other meetings that season. And a look into the cup record between the two teams. Well, the only previous FAI Cup tie was in 1993 at the Brandywell. Derry won by 1-0. John Bacon, have I got that one right, Liam? The Derry goal scorer on that occasion. Derry's record against Athlone overall in 30 matches, beaten just twice. They've won 20 and drawn 8. And they're in front here this afternoon with 28 minutes played on the clock. 1-0, Will Patching with that tidy penalty, as Campion Hines here, no room for him. Brandon Kavanagh working hard, gets back and wrestles possession for the home team. Patching towards Diallo. Diallo to Call now. Back to Sadhu Diallo again. Derry dictating this game at a comfortable pace, Liam.
Yeah. That goal, you know, that hasn't changed the way Athlone played. They're still set up the same way, but you just see Derry now being a bit more patient because they don't really have to chase the game now. Oh, well done.
Here's Cian Kavanagh, not the strongest of efforts from him from just inside the box, and it's gathered by the Athlone goalkeeper as Derry hunt after this second goal. Athlone's only win at the Brandywell came in April 1991. Conor Frawley scored for Athlone on that day. One of 2 victories they've had against Derry. And they're behind here this afternoon. Remember these ties, all FAI Cup games now to be finished on the day. The days of replays now gone. Ball's high up in the air. Drops for Kadir.
And by Conor Frawley scored. I think it was Conor Frawley scored the goal in Athlone that day that we lost the league. I think it was him scored in the first 13 seconds as well. And I think he went on to play for Finn Harps after.
Yeah, he did. He had to spell Finn Harps. Yeah. Derry have only ever lost at home in the Cup, or have only ever lost to First Division teams in the Cup on 2 occasions. That was against Wexford in 2011 and Bray in 2010 after a replay. Both of those were away. Then of course there was the famous defeat, or infamous defeat, to Ashtown Villa, which I think was 1991 as well.
91, yep.
But so far no sniff of an upset here.
I don't think it's going to happen
today,
no.
Because Derry have the lead. Aaron Connolly's just looking to get Piero away now. Piero shot is quickly closed down by McJanet. Leal picks it up over on the left hand side. Athlone venturing forward here. Cross takes a deflection, and I think that is going to go behind for a corner kick, is it? Yes, it is. Tig Ryan.
To be fair to Athlone, they've got into Derry's half more than Tershavin did in the first half on Thursday night.
Well, they've forced a second corner here with 32 minutes almost gone on the clock. Dan McKenna goes across to take it. His first one was a little under hit. Let's see if he can make a better attempt this time around. He has a player, Campion Hines, making himself available for the short one. Now McKenna puts it in there, and that one sails harmlessly over the bar. Tig Ryan, the goalkeeper today, has had very little to do so far, making his first appearance for Derry City as Brian Maher is given a rest. Ryan was signed from Bohemians during the close season. He's a Limerick native. He's been around a few clubs. It's actually signalled for offside, I take it, because Derry City have a free kick over there. It's a bit of an unusual one, but Shane McElhinney thumps it down the line anyway from close to the corner flag. Treaty, Waterford, Cork, Galway and Huddersfield, the clubs that Tig Ryan has previously been on the books of. 26 years of age, hoping for a stress-free afternoon, I'm sure.
It's a strange one for the number 2 goalkeeper, isn't it? Because you want to show the manager how good you are.
That's right. That's true. But you want something to do.
You want something to do, but you're never going to get it in a game like this, you know.
Here's Danny Mullen for Derry. Call looks a bit in the cross first time, doesn't make a great fist of it. Here's Aaron Connolly now, the Athlone captain, fair-haired, wearing number 8, was signed by Martin Russell from Shelburne a couple of seasons ago. Diallo. Derry with the ball just inside the Athlone half. We have less than 12 minutes off the first half to go. We've been trying to find out a bit about Derry's opponents next in Europe. Kups from Finland, and we'll hear from a Finnish football expert during half-time, Eetu Ekola, who's been giving us a rundown on Derry's next opponents, as Brandon Kavanagh that is, looks to send Cian Kavanagh through. It's almost a short change back pass from the defender. Athlone then go along with it, and it's cushioned header back to Ryan in the goal. Here is Patching. Derry in front since the 23rd minute. If you're joining our coverage a little bit late, if you've maybe switched over from the All-Ireland hurling final, which was live on BBC 2 Northern Ireland this afternoon, Brandon Kavanagh winning the penalty and Will Patching converting it. Brandon Kavanagh also drew a fine save from Minogue as well, just a few minutes after Derry went 1-0 in front. Patching floated ball here, almost at Kieran Cole away. Then the defender is showing too much of it to Cole, who gets it back again, and then Brandon Kavanagh just took his eye off the ball as he went to control it. He has retrieved it again, now looking for the sliding pass into Jordan McAniff. It's cut out though, and Campion Hines sees his run stifled by Patching. Throw in is taken in Athlone's favour. Inside the last 10 minutes here on BBC Radio Foyle, BBC Sounds. Derry 1-0 in front as Brian Harmon has gone back to 12 under. He is a 4-shot lead over Straka, who's on 8 under par, playing the 17th. We seem to spend every Open Championship Sunday, Liam, commentating on a Derry City match. Always happens because of Derry's involvement in Europe, and then their matches pushed on to a Sunday evening. Last year we were in Finn Park for a league game which kicked off around the same time as well, if my memory serves me correct. Here is Patching. Some year we'll get to enjoy the final round of the Open. Kim is in the clubhouse on 7 under. Tom Kim, the South Korean. Rory McIlroy, remember, he's in as well on 6 under. Here's a throw in for Derry, level with the 18-yard line. Call to Diallo. The City boss would dearly love a second goal before half-time, just to put them very much in the driving seat. It's a game he'll just want to get out of the way with little fuss and set their minds on Thursday night. Here is Campion Hines, who's looking to get Lamtuku away over on that left-hand side. He's just about kept it in play, close towards the corner flag. He's got Boyce to beat. Plays it back, now the ball's delivered in towards the penalty area, and Pirro with the shot is over the bar. Well, just a bit of a warning for Derry there. Pirro getting the shot away from about 10 yards out or so, but in the end it was over the crossbar.
Yeah, just leaning back on it. He's done really well, Eric, because he's under pressure from at least 3 Derry defenders and manages to peel off, bring it down, just won't come down from it. You can see he's trying to hit it as it is coming down, leaning back, goes over the bar, but
he is their danger man. Yeah, he is their danger man, Franz Pirro from Haiti, and just couldn't keep his effort down to test the gloves of Tig Ryan, but a moment of encouragement certainly for the away team. Here's Connolly in the midfield area to Van Gien, the 24-year-old from the Netherlands, give away the penalty. Back to Eric Minogue. Sorry, Liam,
they've had some big managers over the last 5 or 6 years, Eric, haven't they? Like, you know, like Sir Roddy, Paul Dillon, you know, have all went down there and tried to resurrect them, but it just hasn't happened. I
was looking at that this morning actually, Liam, and I can tell you since 2010 they've had 20 managers.
Right.
So and you're right, they've had the likes of, well, Martin Russell's been there,
Russell as well.
Paul Doolan, Roddy Collins, Alan Matthews, Keith Long, Mick Cook. Roddy Collins actually managed them twice. Yeah. It was Keith Long actually who had them in the Premier Division back in 2014. Here is Ryan, who Brian Maher-like has come well outside of his penalty area to deal with the through ball. McJanet can't prevent the ball from going out for a throw-in. So 40th minute of the game, Derry 1-0 here, and just got a bit of defending to do with Kieran Cole running towards his own goal, hooks it out for a throw-in, sends it into the Mark Farron stand. Derry have 3 substitutes keeping themselves ready down close towards the corner flag, as Campion Hines, the American, is going to take this throw-in. Has he got a long throw-in on his locker? Looks as if he has. Fires that one right in on top of the 6-yard area, and it was Matthew Leal who just couldn't quite judge the bounce of the ball or the flight of the throw-in, whichever, as he came to attack it. But that was one heck of a Roy Delap type long throw-in.
Delap's right there, and I tell you what, he had to read the ball right. He had a free header, but the bounce, as you said, just
Well, the yellow card's coming out here for Dan McKenna, who has clattered into, I'm not sure who the Derry player it is, has gone down.
So Jordan McAnuff, is it?
So attention required, medical attention required here for Jordan McAnuff, just at the closing stages of the first half here. He really would have felt the full force of the Athlone Town player there. So stoppage in play, 4 minutes to go before half time. Dundalk still leading Shamrock Rovers by 1-0. Muller with the goal there. Huge tie really, that one between two of the teams at the top end of the Premier Division, with one that is not going to be involved in the FAI Cup come the draw, which is going to take place on Tuesday during RTE 2FM's Game On show from 6 o'clock. So that's where you'll find the draw. Derry City are certainly hoping to be there. They're almost halfway to having their name in the hat as well. I think I've been through most of the other first round scores at this stage. Kerry are in there as well. Their first ever match in the FAI Cup resulted in a 2-0 win against Ringmahon Rangers. Wexford, James Keddy's Wexford are in the hat. They defeated Avondale United by 3-0. Cockhill Celtic, they were in action yesterday. They lost 3-1 at home to Bray Wanderers. They were 3-0 down after about 25 minutes there. They did get one back before half time. Galway United, they fell behind to Bangor Celtic but won by 4-1. And John Delaney was in attendance. The former FAI CEO was St Michael's in Tipperary, lost 5-0 at home to Waterford. And as I mentioned earlier, Bohemians, Drogheda, UCD, Cork City, other Premier Division teams in the hat as well. So there's a good number of easy draws, Liam. And then
there, yep.
Yeah. So
when you look at Derry's run last year, like, you know, taking on away the fact that they went on, they won it, but
don't you be getting yourself in trouble here now?
But like, you know, you look at Treaty, Cork in the first division, you know, teams that, you know, and that's the thing about the draw. You could find yourself in the final without having played anybody.
So the luck of the draw. Jordan McInnes back okay again, by the way. Play is resumed. We have 90 seconds of the first half to go, plus whatever additional time now the referee Oliver Moran will decide to add. Here is Jordan McAnuff. He's on the ball. He's got a wee bit of space. He's got Brandon Kavanagh to his right. Cian Kavanagh is signalling that he wants the ball. Brandon Kavanagh back to Jordan McAnuff. Goalkeeper out very, very sharp to close down on Jordan McAnuff and make a very good save.
Good move. It's good movement from McAnuff to start with there.
Move, yeah.
And then Kavanagh, who's been Derry's best player in the first half.
Here's Campion Hines now as Athlone go on the attack. It's not a great delivery, but it might yet result in something as Kavanagh has to get it away. Back to Van Gien now on the halfway line. Final minute of the first half. Desi will recap or bring you up to date with all the latest from Hoylake, but well, it's looking over, isn't it? Brian Harmon's now gone to 13 under. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll hear from Finland to get their take on the European tie between Derry City and Coops with the home leg here on Thursday night, and you'll be able to hear it live on Radio Foyle. Handball against Piro. Women's World Cup continued earlier this morning as well. Sweden beat South Africa 2-1. Netherlands were 1-0 winners over Portugal. France and Jamaica, watched a bit of that game, 0-0. Jamaica player sent off pretty late on, but it was quite a famous point for them. Here is Patchy now. Last couple of minutes of this first half. We're going to have 2 additional minutes of stoppages here, and all for that injury to Jordan McAniff right at the end of the first half. So 1-0 the scoreline. Here is Cameron McJanet. Can Derry create something in the last stages of this first half? It's away by Hickey. Throw in taken by Cole into Will Patchin to Brandon Kavanagh. Now he's got a player closing right up behind him, but he shakes him off. Now it's with Diallo. Derry just about 10 yards inside the Athlone half here. Diallo goes for that crossfield ball to bring Ronan Boyce into play. Boyce, he's got away from his marker. His Boyce running down the right channel, puts in the cross. Cole looking to get to it. The Athlone defender just got to it first though. Comes out here now for Will Patching. Well, his pass to Cian Kavanagh doesn't quite find him. Aaron Connolly sloppy with his control, but he has now got the ball at his feet. Here's Campion Hines trying to show a bit of trickery, but Cole is too experienced for that. Derry throw in. Last couple of seconds. Dario Castello, the Portuguese coach in charge of Athlone down there. Well, there's a yellow card for the fullback, is it? Abdikadir. What was that all about?
Well, it's obviously as he pushed the ball away, is he?
So second booking for Athlone in this first half. Throw in is taken. Derry go back away with it to Diallo. No real urgency to try and get the ball up forward quickly for one last attack here before the referee blows his half-time whistle. So there it is, Derry halfway to booking their place in the last 16 of the FAI Cup. A penalty from Will Patching after Brandon Kavanagh was fouled midway through the first half. The difference between the sides, Derry have of course bossed it. They've dominated the ball. There was one moment of concern in the home defence on 37 minutes when Piro blasted over the bar from a decent range. Derry where they want to be, Liam Coyle, in front, but this tie not out of sight yet by any means.
Well, not yet, Derek, but you would expect second half. You know, if Athlone are going to have any say in the game, they're going to have to open up a bit, and that's when Derry will probably pick them off. And then you look at Derry's bench, you know, I'd say Rory will make a few changes early, try and give everybody a run out. So, while it's not over, still fancy Derry to go on one easy enough.
Okay, Derry lead at half time. Derry City 1, Athlone Town from the First Division 0. Desi.
Thanks to Eric and to Liam. We'll be back with them in good time for the second half. Let's run down the results in the FAI Cup games today. Lucan United 2, St Patrick's CY 3. Mooney with 2 goals for Lucan. Doyle, Hanrahan and Ivy in the last minute for St Patrick's CY. They progressed to the second round of the Cup. Easy for Skerries at Portlaoise. 2 goals from McKenna and 1 from Mullen as they won 3-0. Here at Brandywell, Will Patching's penalty on 23 minutes has Derry City 1-0 up against Athlone Town. It's 1-0 also at Oriel Park. Hayden Muller's goal on 24 minutes has Dundalk 1-0 up against Shamrock. And Lockport Town against St Patrick's Athletic. The last tie of the first round, that'll kick off at 6 o'clock in about 10 or 12 minutes time. The team's already through: Galway, Bows, Kerry, Dundalk, Drogheda, Bray, St Patrick's CY, Rockford, Rockmount, Finn Herbs, Wexford, Waterford, UCD and Skerries. There are the teams that are called through. We're about to get back underway here at Brandywell, so let's return to Liam Coyle. And first of all, Eric White.
Thank you very much, Desi. And it's Athlone who trail Derry City by 1-0, who will get the second half underway, playing from right to left. Referee Oliver Moran just setting his watch and we are all set to go for this second half. No changes from either side. Athlone Town in their home colours, blue and black stripes, black shorts and blue socks. Derry City in their red shirts with white stripes, black shorts and white socks. Just 4 players retained in their starting lineup from the team which beat Torshavn on Thursday night. Ronan Boyce, Will Patching, Sadhu Diallo and Cameron McJanet. All the rest of the players are on the bench if required. So Derry with Tyg Ryan in goal. He's in for his debut. Boyce, Shane McElhinney, Connolly and Call. Diallo, Patching, McMullen, Brandon Kavanagh, Jordan McInniff and Cian Kavanagh. And a quick run through on the Athlone Town team. It's Minogue in goal, Abdikadir, Hickey, Van Gien and Lamtuku across the back. In midfield, Campion, Hines, McKenna, Connolly, Leal, Pepra and Piro, who is their lone striker. And the first half goal for Derry scored by Will Patching. And Liam, well, it's all about Derry getting the second goal now, isn't it, and putting the tie to bed.
Yeah, just getting it done quickly, right? Make a few changes. That's a great ball, unlucky. Getting that second goal, make a few changes, trying to keep everybody fresh now for Thursday night without hopefully picking up no injuries.
A couple of shout-outs as the second half gets underway. Nice moment of recognition for Patsy Bradley down there during the half-time break. Long-serving matchday steward who is retiring. He received a presentation from the club, so we wish Patsy all the best. A familiar face here for many years, and I have to give a happy 50th birthday shout out as well to one of your former teammates, Liam, player you struck up a great partnership with, of course, Gary Beckett, who turns 50 tomorrow. And if you're listening, Gary, Liam says the money and the card is in the post tomorrow, as long as you deliver it.
I don't think he'll be at work tomorrow for some reason, Eric.
Here is Will Patching, the scorer of the goal in this game. But just on a word on Patsy Bradley as well, Liam. I mean, every club, depends so much on his volunteers, and well, he certainly comes into that category.
100%. Come way back, Eric, the time when I started, Patsy was here. The likes of Knucker and Tony Dock's still here. All them people that keep the club taking over, that don't get the recognition that the players do, the board, and also, as you say, every club needs them kind of people, and I think Patsy deserves a well-deserved rest. And
he received his presentation in the splendid sunlight here at the Brandywell. Splendid sunshine, lovely evening for this cup tie. Derry's defence just under a wee bit of pressure here with Piro making life difficult for McElhinney. Takes on the shot, does Piro. Well, it's high and wide in the end up, but again, it just drew a moment of concern as he spun away from Shane McElhinney.
Tell you what, he's a bit of a handful, Eric.
Could be.
You can see why he scored a lot of goals and that. Funny enough, like Kevin Derry, he's just said, Kevin's working up there with what's the other way. Kevin said he's a better player than some players he's seen in Irish League, and he feels as if he could do a job for any of the top teams in that division. So,
well, 24 years of age. That's
he's a big lad, like, isn't he? And that's a great ball.
Had that chance as well before the end of the first half. Calls in a real race over on that left-hand side to try and keep the ball in play, but it's eventually beaten him.
Well, he's had a couple of siders, Eric, and he's done really well for that one there. He's actually held off McJanet, held off Shane McElhinney, turns down the right-hand side on the box, and then he's rush of blood to the head, then he's no composure in his shot, and it goes well wide. But I think if you give him the right service, it'll cause you a few problems.
Rather subdued atmosphere here this afternoon, as you'd kind of expect. A bit of a come down from the highs of the European match here on Thursday night to an FAI Cup tie, Premier Division against First Division, third in the Premier against fourth in the First Division, and ball knocked back to Eric Minogue, who has to very quickly release it again. Now it's with Campion Hines, who's trying to get Lamtuku away from an advanced position down this left-hand side. Cole now picks it up. Call back to Cameron McJanet. And Derry have it over on the far side of the pitch with 5 minutes gone in this second half. They're underway at the in Longford, where Longford are playing St Patrick's Athletic. That one's 0-0. And St Patrick's Athletic, just a reminder of what can happen in this particular stage, because last year they, as the cup holders, had an FAI Cup tie sandwiched in between European ties, and they lost it 3-2 at home to First Division Waterford. And Sligo Rovers, who were also distracted by Europe, they lost 2-1 at home to Wexford. So both got knocked out in the first round to lower division opposition in between European ties, and I'm sure Rory Higgins will have been reminding his team of that as well. Nothing to be taken for granted. Here's Sadou Diallo. Derry work it over to the right hand side for Ronan Boyce. Diallo trying to create the space to get away from two Athlone players who are quickly around him. Second half underway too at Oriel Park. Dundalk, remember, leading Shamrock Rovers by 1-0 in that one. Athlone's form has dipped a bit over the last number of weeks, particularly since the mid-season break. They had won 3 games in a row prior to the mid-season break in June, but since that they've managed just 1 win in their last 4 games. Here's Brandon Kavanagh surveying his options as he looks for that opening, but looking pretty solid. Athlone with every player behind the ball. Of course, at some stage they're going to have to try and come out, but maybe they'll be content just to keep it at 1-0 for as long as possible as a stray pass goes out for a throw-in. But they lost 1-0 at home to Galway in their last outing, conceded late on there to the league leaders. They had a 4-1 win away to Wexford before that, but 2 home defeats against Cove and Treaty. They actually lost their last 3 home games, so maybe they're happier to be on their travels. They play on a similar AstroTurf surface as well down at the Athlone Town Stadium. Now it's with Shane McElhinney. Every player bar Tyg Ryan, the Derry City goalkeeper, in that Athlone half. Patching, linking up with McJanet and Cole over there. Here is Shane McElhinney now. Here is Boyce. Boyce to Brandon Kavanagh, peels off down this right hand side, but he's been boxed in towards the corner flag. He has found a way out though with the ball towards Diallo. Boyce almost picked it up again from Jordan McAniff, but Athlone cleared up towards the halfway line, and it's with the City skipper Cameron McJanet. I mean, this is the test, isn't it, for Derry City right now, Liam? I mean, you know, they've been games that they win narrowly, and they do find it hard to break sides down, and I suppose Athlone are testing their mettle with that regard right now.
To be fair to Athlone, there's playing this system where it's 1 up front and then it's 5 in the middle, finding it hard to break them down. Derry have a lot of ball, and they're keeping their shape really well. The players are moving and the position when it comes across. The problem for Derry is that there's not enough movement in front, you know, and that's for your centre forward. It's got to come to your centre forward to bring people into the game. And at the minute, you know, Captain is not doing that. He's not, and everything's been played in front. And by that token, then everything slows down because the striker's not bringing the people into it, and runners are not getting beyond them. So they're going to have to change it. Look, you just see it at the minute. Like, you know, Athlone are just walking. They're not even having to move.
55th minute of the game. Derry City 1, Athlone Town 0 here on BBC Radio Foyle and BBC Sounds. The first round of the Sports Direct FAI Cup under new sponsors this year, as Patchin floats one in for Cian Kavanagh, but that one has gone right through to Athlone's goalkeeper.
Well, I think Crew's going to make a couple of changes here. You know,
early quick kick out from Minogue, trying to get Piero away. He wasn't quite happy with the direction of the pass. Diallo is doing likewise here, and he's found Cian Kavanagh. Cian Kavanagh takes a touch. He's lost his boot. He tees it up for Brandon Kavanagh, who side puts it straight into the goalkeeper's arms.
Well, that's the first time Cian Kavanagh just come off the defender, and it's a good ball from patching, about 50-60 yard pass over. And now it's coming down over his right shoulder. I think he has to have a shot first time, but he brings it on to his left foot. Does well then to keep his balance in, just to play it on the Brandon Kavanagh, who then has a shot and the keeper saves comfortably. But you know, you're lacking goals. One's coming over your shoulder on about 13 yards out.
No shortage of options on the bench for Derry City. I think we're going to see Michael Duffy and Cameron. Well, I think we're going to see 4 changes coming on here. All 4 that have been warming up are going to come on. Dummigan, McElhinney, Duffy and McMullen. Yeah. So a quadruple change on the way here from the Derry City manager 10 minutes into the second half. What do you read into that, Liam?
Well, I just think he wants to freshen it up a bit, Eric. I think he needs a bit more quality, and he wants to kill this game off. So, you know, I think the likes of Duffy and
is this a message to the players that are out there?
Well, 100%.
Now that
100%.
Not happy with what he's seeing.
100%, Eric. And you know, and the thing about it is, them 4 players there are going to start on Thursday night. You know, so I'm sure Rory wanted to leave it for as long as he possibly could. He maybe didn't want to make it as quick as. But it's
56 looks a bit early in the game, doesn't it, for 4 changes?
Well, it's become a bit uncomfortable again, Eric.
Yeah. Well, balls in the Derry City net from Piero, but the referee's already signalled for a foul on Boyce. But here comes the 4 substitutions now on the Derry team, and a clear indication of the manager's thinking. So Dummigan is coming on for Diallo. Score of that goal the other night. Duffy is coming on for Patching. Yep. Patching just making his way off. Patrick McElhinney the next to come on. That's for Jordan McAneff. And the final change will see Paul McMullen come on, and the number up there is Cian Kavanagh. So that's the 4 changes.
Well, Danny Mullen will go up front, Derek. Trying to work this out now. Paul McMullen will come here right side, I would say. Yep. Obviously Patrick and Mickey will just come to their normal positions.
So there's 4 changes made by the Derry manager, Rory Higgins. 57 minutes gone in the game. Just to recap: Duffy, McElhinney, Dummigan and McMullen all on. Patching, McAneff, Diallo and Cian Kavanagh, the men who have come off. So that match, that FAI Cup semi-final that I referred to in the first half, when Athlone lost 11-0 to Dundalk at home. Duffy scored twice in that game. Patrick McElhinney also on the score sheet, and both those players now on the pitch to face Athlone for the first time since that game. 58.5 minutes. Derry with this narrow 1-0 lead, and the manager hoping now that the 4 substitutions will up the tempo of this Derry performance and ensure their place in the next round. They kicked off their campaign last year, albeit against a lower standard of opposition, Ulverbond Celtic, with a 7-0 victory. And I suppose the challenge this year is they are aiming to do something that Derry City haven't done in their FAI Cup history, and that's win the competition back to back.
It's not easy, I can tell you. It's a difficult thing to do, especially when you're the team that everybody wants to beat then, like, you know what I mean? But this Derry team, I think, are more capable of going on to do that.
Well, they'll certainly be eyeing the cup again this year as a route to silverware. Here is Patrick McElhinney, not out of the league, of course, by any stretch of the imagination either, as McElhinney hangs a long ball across precisely to call. Nice 1-2. Duffy linking up with Mullen. It's going to be a corner kick for Derry.
Well, there you are, just a bit of quality straight away, Eric. You know what I mean? Long ball from Duffy, or from McElhinney, far side, comes inside. Duffy just, with his movement, he's unlucky. The touch just takes him away, but they clear for a corner.
Well, after deciding that Derry badly need a lift in this half, Rory Higgins changes straight away, having a positive impact, and they've got a corner kick here on the hour mark. Duffy whips it in, and it's over the bar from Mullen, who got his head to it first ahead of the goalkeeper Minogue.
It'll be interesting to see how Mullen fares out here now. I think he's gone up front. He played off Kavanagh on the left in the first half, and we're expecting him to come in and be this number 9 that everybody was thinking Derry needed, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of player he is.
Dummigan wins the header just inside his own half. Here is Boyce to Brandon Kavanagh. Infield now for Patrick McElhinney, 30 yards out from goal, steps inside his man, still got the ball at his feet. Ball now ricochets across to McMullen. Here's Brandon Kavanagh, twisting and turning, and then going back with his pass to Dummigan. Here's Dummigan once more, trying to stretch the play with that long pass across to Cole, who just hooks it back now for Michael Duffy. Duffy heading towards the penalty box on that left side, and his pass back to Cole is intercepted. Here's Athlone just struggling now to get out of being box deep inside their own territory. Cross for McElhinney. Patrick McElhinney spots the run of Duffy, but out comes the goalkeeper Eric Minogue. The goalkeeper who's just been beaten by the penalty spot so far in this match here tonight. Dario Costello's side still very much in this cup tie. I have to say I had to Google him this morning, Liam, and I initially came up with Dario Costello, who was an Italian composer. But
maybe it's the same boy, Rick.
Definitely wasn't him, I don't think. He replaced Gordon Brett as the manager earlier in the season. Here is Lamtuku now. Just runs ahead of the ball. He's got it back at his feet again. Athlone looking to enjoy a bit of spell of possession here with McKenna and Connolly across their centre circle area. Derry have it back again. Patrick McElhinney, fans just waiting for them to do something to liven up this second half again. McMullen wants to take the free kick quickly. Referees not going to allow that happen. Don't know why, but it's brought it back again. So Cameron McJanet this time will take it short to Patrick McElhinney as they restart the play. Forward towards Brandon Kavanagh. Kavanagh chasing this one down, but Van Gien with the long legs there reaches the ball first. They've kept it in play down that far right hand side. McJanet is asked to do a bit of defending, and for a second time as well. He comes across his marker, then Connolly sticks in a boot. McJanet goes down. Both players just have a wee word with each other. It's all over at Hoylake, where Brian Harmon has won the Open Championship. Cross comes deep into that Athlone penalty area. McMullen has to scamper after it here, and then he just flicks it past his marker, sends in a tasty ball into towards the penalty area, but Van Gien had plenty of time to clear it. It comes out now towards Boyce. Boyce couldn't steer it in towards a Derry player, and Athlone once again clear their lines. But yes, Harmon in on 13 under and winning the Claret Jug by 6 shots from a host of players there on 7 under. Jason Day, Tom Kim, Straka, John Ram, McElroy. He was back on 6 under. He's been given an interview to Stephen Watson where he's described his round as solid, or I suppose his weekend maybe as solid but not spectacular. Says his major performances have improved since his poor run in 2016-2019. Not thinking about no major in 9 years, and will now look ahead to the Ryder Cup and winning the FedEx and the race to Dubai. McIlroy, of course, who won the Open at Hoylake back in 2014, won the Scottish Open last weekend. There was a lot of hope that this year, or this weekend, that he could end his long major drought, but not to be. The Claret Jug will cross the Atlantic Ocean with Harman's victory there. 66 minutes played here. They've given the ball straight towards Mullen, who was too casual really when he was presented it with a gift, and the Athlone defender got back and made the vital tackle that has just kept his team in it.
Well, he's very fortunate. Mullen just doesn't look as if he's sharp on it, to be quite honest. I think he should have been away. You know, he's one man they bit, but he just runs straight into him, looks tired, and they clear it. But he's the Athlone player, 29, is it?
Yeah, it's Lamtuku.
Lamtuku, he's very fortunate because I have no idea what he's seen, that it wasn't an Athlone jersey.
Back again, they go to their goalkeeper, Eric Minogue. Well, Derry won't want to be left to rue that sort of a miss. Here is Brandon Kavanagh, still in search of the second goal. Patrick McElhinney to McMullen, and well, Kavanagh has tried to put it on the head of Mullen there, but it just skims over his head. And now we're going to have an Athlone Town change. Jack Kavanagh is going to come on. They're one change actually from their defeat to Galway last weekend, and he will replace Matthew Leal over on the left side of the team. Quarter of the game to go. Derry, courtesy of a penalty, lead 1-0 in this FAI Cup tie. It seems a long way from the drama and excitement of last November at the Viva Stadium, but cup runs have to start somewhere. Here's Cameron McJanet to Duffy, Patrick McElhinney. Clips it forward here for McMullen. Duffy's making a promising run if he can find him. It's down the left side of the penalty area, hooks it back, and no Derry player there in the penalty box, or certainly in the area of the delivery. Now it's with Brandon Kavanagh as they look to come again. Athlone working ever so hard to keep themselves in this tie. Duffy's looking to find McMullen, but Hickey this time intercepts and tries to get Pirro away now.
They just, you can just see the changes that they have made have just freshened it up, and they're really struggling now, Athlone.
And this time Patrick McElhinney's made the run inside the box, and all was brilliantly cut out by Van Gien, the Dutchman who gave away the penalty in the first half because, well, it was Danny Mullen was just waiting for the tap-in. If Van Gien hadn't have slid in and put that one behind for a corner kick. Another delivery to come in from Duffy. Derry will attack this from the back post. Ball hangs in the air. Everybody's missed it. Shane McElhinney retrieves it down this right hand side, pulls it back for Brandon Kavanagh, sends it back in towards the danger zone, and Eric Minnick shows a very good clean pair of hands to come and make that catch.
Yeah, I tell you what, Eric, he looks decent. He's been very comfortable all night, coming for crosses. The handling's been good. Has made a couple of decent saves in the first half.
And with 20 minutes to go, Athlone looking for that outlet of Pirro again up front. He looks a bit frustrated. That one escapes him. Duffy, the flag has gone up against him from McElhinney's pass over on the left hand side. Should the Derry manager be concerned at all in any way?
Well, you're always concerned, Eric, when it's still only 1-0. You know, And it's a thing we keep saying about Derry, to be quite honest. You know, it's become a regular thing. When it's still 1-0, our team's always on with a chance, even though you're comfortable. But as we seen the other night, you know, one break the ball, one deflection, one set piece, and the next thing you know, you're back in the game again. So it's getting that second goal is always going to be crucial.
Of course, tie to be finished today, so if Athlone were to find an equaliser and we were to be level after 90 minutes, we would go into 30 minutes of extra time and then a penalty shootout. But
don't jinx that.
Just keeping the listeners informed, Liam.
Keeping them informed.
I'll say Brandywell bathed in evening sunshine right now, but the fans really want to see this second goal, and Duffy might be able to provide it as he sends in the cross, but cut out at the near post by Hickey, behind for another Derry corner inside the last 20 minutes. Still trying to create this opening for the second goal. And another corner for Michael Duffy to deliver in from the far side, headed away, comes out to McMullen, puts it back in early, defended well by Lamtuku. Boyce now will pick it up for Derry on this right hand side. There's Shane McElhaney, Kieran Cole, all the defenders. McJanet as well inside the Athlone half. Play breaks down though, and now Athlone look for a rare foray into the Derry half in this second half. It's with Kavanagh, their substitute. First real involvement in play for him as Derry work it over in the, or Athlone I should say, work it over in the far right hand side. Ball played forward by Dan McKenna. Duffy putting too much pressure though on the Athlone team, and they've got possession back once more.
The problem Athlone have, Eric, is that they're working that hard to stop Derry. You know, keeping their shape, making Derry find it hard to play. You know, working extremely hard to close them down. But when it breaks forward, you know, the legs aren't there even to go up and support. So as soon as it breaks down, they're just dropping back onto a 4-5-1 again. And then the centre forward, he's just getting no support at all.
Patrick McElhaney in the centre circle for Derry. Forward pass for Kavanagh, the Dubliner, scored in the 2 rounds actually last year of Derry's cup run, in the quarter-finals against Shamrock Rovers, his former club, and in the semi-final as well against Treaty, forcing a bit of pressure on the Athlone defence. Settles for a throw-in 16 yards from the corner flag over on the far side. Dundalk continue to lead Shamrock Rovers 1-0 at Oriel Park, and it's Longford 0, St Patrick's Athletic 0, just half an hour gone in that game. Derry lead 1-0 here, and we've 73 minutes played on the clock. Just a little bit too close for comfort, the scoreline for Derry right now is but Athlone, Liam was hinting at there, just cannot get out. Here is Brandon Kavanagh. Kavanagh falls to the ground himself as he loses the balance, and then he tries to sort of lie on the ball, and the referee's not going to have any of that, so it'll be an Athlone free kick just outside their own penalty area. Minogue comes out to takes it, plays it towards McKenna. He's got Jack Kavanagh over here on the left hand side as they move into the Derry half. The other big sports headlines today: Harman is the Open champion, Kilkenny beaten by Limerick, who make it 4 in a row in the All-Ireland Hurling Championship, and no play in the Ashes, which means that Australia will retain the Ashes, with the 5th test to come at the Oval, I think. Ball hooked into play there by Kieran Cole, so allows Athlone now just an opportunity to push forward. And we're going to have the long throw-in come here now from Campion Hines. Did cause Derry a problem with the one that he had in the first half. Well, he's gone short actually with this one. He just dropped it at the feet of one of his teammates, and that ball in towards the box is too close to the Limerick man in goal for Derry, Tadhg Ryan. And In his purple kit, wearing number 26, rolls it out for Kieran Cole. 15 minutes of the match remaining, 15 minutes of normal time. Here is Brandon Kavanagh looking to get Duffy away down the left hand side. Duffy's been fouled by the defender on that far side of the pitch, so a free kick, chance for the Candy Stripes to knock it into the penalty area. Brandon Kavanagh setting the ball down. Duffy is there as well. Shane McElhinney, Cameron McJanet, the central defensive partnership, both lurking inside that Athlone box. And in fact, there's an Athlone player, I think it's Van Gien, is at the centre half, who's gone down hurt. So he's going to require some treatment inside the last 14 minutes of this game, as medical attention is required. The draw, as I was saying, just to remind listeners, will be on Tuesday evening, sometime between 6 and 7 o'clock on 2FM's Game On show on RTE Radio. Derry hoping to be in the hat along with the other Premier Division sides, Bohemians, Drogheda, UCD, Cork City, and the winner of the Dundalk Shamrock Rovers tie. Of course, they'll all be hoping to avoid each other and instead get one of the number of First Division stroke 3 non-league clubs who are still in that draw as well. Rockmount from Cork and St Patrick's, CY and Skerries, who both won earlier today. I suppose a home draw against either one of those threes would be the ideal draw for the second round, which would be in mid-August. Here comes the free kick, wasted. Wall charged it down, and back now with Dummigan with 13 minutes here to go. Kieran Cole on the halfway line for Derry, who can still make one further change, as McElhinney's cross in is cut out by McKenna, comes to McMullen, and that one takes a deflection and goes wide for a corner kick, this time here on the near side. So it'll be taken by Paul McMullen. Well, in fact, he's left it for Brandon Kavanagh to swing it in. Breeze at Derry's back in this second half. Kavanagh whips it in, and Minogue has let this one slip through his hands. He's hurt himself as he falls to the ground in the process as well, and it will be a Derry corner, but maybe Minogue has just winded himself there, and on the back of that
he just twisted his knee or something. Like he just seen him holding his knee, but now he's on his feet again.
Yeah,
so
I just wanted to maybe get a wee breather for himself after that.
He was a bit embarrassed as that there.
Yeah,
I give him the build up about it. You know,
a double change now coming from Athlone. We're going to see Matthew Baker come on, and Dylan Gavin, who has just returned to the club after a number of years with Charlton Athletic, signed during the week. First, they've got this corner kick to defend. McJanet was up for it, and this time the keeper has taken a heavier knock, and so too is Cameron McJanet. Both goalkeeper and defender, Derry defender, Athlone goalkeeper, colliding with each other. Could be pretty nasty.
Well, I think what the Athlone players are saying here, I think, is in the first half, I think one of the Athlone players was given a yellow card for a challenge on Jordan McAnuff for the same sort of thing, and they're saying, well, how is that different to what's happened, you know, because it's right on top of the keeper, and McJanet's every right to go for the ball. There's no reason not to, but you know, they're saying, well, if you give a free kick and a yellow card in the first half, how's it any different?
Well, Derry, I think we're about to bring on Jimmy McGonigal. They've obviously just had to hold off on that right now to check on the well-being of Cameron McJanet, their 2-goal hero from the Aviva last November. Meanwhile, the Athlone players have come over and surrounded their manager, Mr. Costello, for a mini team talk with 10 minutes left to go on the clock. And McJanet is okay again anyway. He's back on his feet. He's going to jog his way back to centre back position, and Eric Minogue would seem is going to be okay to continue now. So 10 minutes to go. Here comes the Athlone changes, and Abdikadir is coming off to be replaced by Dylan Gavin, and Matthew Baker, we're just waiting to see him come on. He's a Jamaican. He's coming on for their number 28, which is Pepra. Baker, who has just 19 years of age, he's been playing his football in Germany over the last couple of seasons. So a double switch from Athlone. 9 minutes to go, and now they have to show a bit of ambition to try and see if they can get an equaliser in this tie. An unlikely goal.
Are they good enough to go and do that, Eric? That's the problem. You know, it's, you can bring on fresh legs, but if the quality's not there to trouble you, then it doesn't really matter. But it's again, it's just down to Derry, just try and get the second goal, just to give the crowd a lift, because the Brandywell is just absolutely dead here at the minute.
Yeah, sort of been flat really all evening.
Yeah.
But their team are in front by 1-0. A Will Patching penalty which came back in the first half. Now Jamie McGonigal can come on if they're safe in the knowledge that Cameron McJanet is okay to continue, and it's Danny Mullen who is going to make way in the 82nd minute. More game time, more minutes for Mullen, but Jamie McGonigal, who played such a key role, it has to be said, in Derry's cup run and cup glory last year. He scored in 4 out of the 5 rounds, including the opener in the final.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised he gets a goal here, to be honest, Derek.
He's got 8 minutes of normal time to seal this tie, to seal this win. This Irish Cup, this FAI Cup winners medal, going along with his Irish Cup winners medal that he won with Coleraine back in 2018. It was a big day for McGonigal at the Aviva. Athlone have another player down now, needing treatment. It's been hard work for the Midlanders out there in the warm evening. They have made 3 changes, so I think we're about to see them now have to make their 4th once their substitute is ready to come on. We'll be anticipating a slightly more highly charged occasion here on Thursday night for the second qualifying round of Derry's Europa Conference League fixture against Coops. So
well, that's the only thing about this game, Eric. It hasn't taxed the Derry players too much. You know, he's been able to make that many changes and then take them off and bring on, so it hasn't really been a pressurised situation here today where they've been up against it, and that's taken a lot out of them, so they should be fresh enough for Thursday night.
Well, the latest Athlone change, Valerie Dolia is on for Lamtuku. Dolia is a Ukrainian. He's got 7 goals this season, so not quite sure what the circumstances were in him not maybe having more involvement in this game tonight, but he's got 6 minutes and he's on the ball right now inside the Derry half, and his first pass gives it straight back to Kieran Cole, who puts it back to Tig Ryan. 5.5 minutes here to go. Derry 1, Athlone Town 0. First round of the FAI Cup. Shamrock Rovers heading for the exit as well, unless they can grab something late at Oriel Park, because they trailed Dundalk by 1-0. St. Pat's not having it all their way either, approaching half-time, drawing 0-0 at Longford. Cross into the Athlone penalty area by Boyce is dealt with by Van Gien. Cole shifts it to Duffy. Duffy just steps inside the penalty area, stayed on his feet, and the ball ran away from him. Doyle hasn't got that amount of time to dwell on it. Patrick McElhinney picks his pocket pretty quickly, and now here he gives it towards McMullen. McMullen across towards Duffy. He's made the run in field, but Athlone Town scramble it away once again. But Derry back in possession with McElhinney. Dummigan. Here's Michael Duffy. Michael Duffy towards McMullen. Angle drive. Blocked by the defender. Gets a second attempt at it, but can back up off McMullen's hand, was it?
Bunched
they
off
controlled
him,
it, yeah. So a free kick.
But again, you're like too slow on it to get a shot away. Like it's good. Duffy just lays the man. He should just touch out of his feet, have a shot. He allows the defender to come across and block it again. But it's just been one touch too many and too slow at times.
Minogue sends it forward as quickly as he can. Dylan Gavin, ball just wouldn't drop kindly enough for him. Well, the one goal may well be enough for Derry, but certainly not going to be a convincing scoreline. As Roland Boyce has it over here on this right hand side. Back to Shane McElhinney, now a two-time FAI Cup winner with his hometown club, having been part of the 2012 team as well as the 2022 team. Lifts it down this right hand side. Here's Boyce. That's gone out of play from Ronan Boyce. His manager gives him the stare. Throw in for Athlone. 3.5 minutes remaining. Kavanagh right on the halfway line. Hooked forward by McMullen. McGonigal out-jumped by Hickey. Their central defenders, certainly over 6 foot. Here's McMullen again, flicks the ball in between two Athlone defenders. McMonigal then tries to link up with him to get him away down the right hand side. McElhinney, the city skipper, man who lifted the trophy at the Aviva, plays the ball infield, comes off Paul's head, and now Athlone have it. Is there one chance in Athlone? Is there an attack in Athlone? They've barely got out of their own half for most of this second half, yet they're still only trailing by a 0-0, but they have given away a free kick on the halfway line.
For all Derry's possession, Eric, I don't think Minogue and the Athlone goal has had a shot. They saved the second half. He's had a few crosses to deal with and balls across the box, but he hasn't been tested.
Couple of saves from Brandon Kavanagh in each half. Cross comes in, might fall here for Ronan Boyce. Boyce towards Brandon Kavanagh, back to Boyce again. Boyce sends it in towards the 6-yard area. Athlone with enough of blue and black shirts inside the penalty area to deal with it, and then they just run it out of play with 1.5 minutes to go, plus whatever stoppage time. In towards Patrick McElhinney. Pass for McMullen, goes down the right side of the penalty box. Kavanagh puts it out for a throw in, and Liam will gather his thoughts on his man of the match selection as we clock ticks towards the 90th minute. Here's Ronan Boyce. Ronan Boyce to Patrick McElhinney. McElhinney back to Boyce, just down the right side of the penalty area. Comes outside here for McMullen. McMullen no way past Connolly, although he's got a second bite at it here. Dollier and Athlone clear their lines once more. Here is Dummigan. Dummigan has found McMullen in a bit of space down the right hand side. No, it's just gone beyond him, just a wee bit too much pace on it, and McMullen kicks the ball into the Brandywell Showgrounds. And we're in the 90th minute now, so just whatever the fourth official will show on his board for the added time. as the two McElhinnys win the ball back for Derry. Into the channel. Here's Jimmy McGonigal, fresh legs for City, runs at Kavanagh, cuts inside him, nice bit of play from Jimmy McGonigal, flicks it towards the back post. Duffy was coming in, goalkeeper got there first, sends it long forward. Hero, there's a push, 5 minutes of additional time we're going to have. There's a clear push from Dylan Gavin on Cameron McJanet as he was going to head it back towards his goalkeeper. Referee's whistle sounded, free kick for Derry. Over to you, Liam.
Well, it's been one of them games, like, under no pressure, like there's no jeopardy at all. I think Tag Ryan and the Derry goal has just been Mikey Duffy's on the side.
Let's see if Duffy can get the second goal here for Derry. Great block. Brilliant defending from Hickey it was.
Hickey's been excellent at the centre defence, I have to say, for Athlone. But, first half, Derry were a lot better. They only picked up since McElhinney, Duffy, Dummigan's come on, but for a man of the match, I'm going to give it to Brandon Kavanagh. I think he was Derry's best player in the first half. He's tired a bit in the second half, but he's looked lively, and you can see that what he's been trying to do just hasn't come off at times.
In comes the corner kick. Cole is there and it's gone behind. He's claiming it should be a corner kick. It is in fact going to be a goal kick. So Brandon Kavanagh won Derry's penalty, drew a couple of fine saves from Eric Minogue, gets the nod for man of the match from Liam Coyle. It's half time in the cup tie between Longford and St Patrick's Athletic, 0-0 at the break there. St Pat's of course gone into that one on the back of a demoralising exit from Europe in midweek, and Dundalk continue to lead Shamrock Rovers by 1-0. Well, by the time Shamrock Rovers resume their league campaign in a couple of weeks' time, that's maybe all that they could have to play for.
Yep.
They could be out of the cup and out of Europe in the next few weeks. Here's Duffy driving into that Athlone box, flicks it towards Patrick McElhinney. McElhinney to Brandon Kavanagh, maybe a pass too many. He was trying then to find McMullen. Nobody taking ownership here. Derry hunt for the second goal. Here is Brandon Kavanagh to cap his performance, and that finally is the second goal, the insurance goal, the goal that sends Derry into the second round of the FAI Cup, and underlines, reinforces Liam's selection as the man of the match for the game for Derry tonight. Cool finish when the ball fell to him invitingly inside the box, and that at last is Derry City 2, Athlone Town 0, and the cup holders are into Tuesday's draw.
Well, it's just tiredness from Athlone there. I just can't get out, and feel sorry for the Athlone goalkeeper Minogue. He's been excellent, but that's just a flat ball, just comes in from Patrick McElhinney. It's one of the worst attempted headers I've seen, and Brandon Kavanagh just brings it down, acres of space, and just rolls it on the bottom corner.
Well, something to send the supporters home with, having to endure this match here this evening. At a second goal, reward for those that have stayed for the very end, Liam.
Well, that's right.
Kavanagh.
I think that's the only thing you can say. I think everybody has stuck it out for the final whistle and seen a late goal.
And that for Kavanagh is his second goal of the season, to go along with his one in the 3-0 victory against Dundalk. And he does like a FAI Cup goal, doesn't he? Scored 2 on their route to the final last year. And he adds to Patching's first half penalty. We're in the 94th minute. You wouldn't bet against Derry now going and scoring a third goal. McMullen races on to this one down the right hand side. His cross is too deep. I think Jimmy McGonigal has at least kept it in play. Pulls it back for Duffy, who's going to... Here's Patrick McElhinney. Crowd urge him to shoot. Passes it in towards Duffy, who nods it into the net to make it 3-0. Goalkeeper appeals for offside. Duffy and McElhinney combining. Floated ball in towards the box. And there was Duffy. Goalkeeper got his fingertips onto it, but he couldn't prevent it from going into the net. And 2 goals in stoppage time have added a more convincing scoreline to this cup tie as Derry City now lead Athlone by 3-0.
Well, no surprise, Duffy. McElhinney linking up again, Eric, and again Athlone just tired looking team now, and no acres of space. Patrick, he could even have a shot, but he sees the run from Mickey Duffy, and it's hard to say whether he was offside or not, but the Athlone player seemed to think he was. But Patrick, we have just a wee chip over the top, and Mickey, as the ball there just blows up, hits it on the top corner.
But harsh on Athlone maybe at the end there, conceding 2 goals and stoppage time. Rory Higgins and his counterpart Dario Costello shake hands down there. Derry into Tuesday's draw for the second round of the FAI Cup. Will Patching penalty in the first half, midway through the first half. It was a long wait in the second half for Derry to add to that scoreline, but they did deep in stoppage time with goals from Brandon Kavanagh and Michael Duffy as Derry, after a taxing win over Torshavn, come through here unscathed in the end up to reach the last 16 of the competition. And Liam Coyle, job done, and now everybody wants to focus on Coops on Thursday night.
Well, that's exactly right, and I think that's what Rory would have been saying. You know, he knows this was a game they were never going to lose. Made a lot of changes, trying to keep it fresh, and alright, they made hard work of it second half, but the quality was always there. You always knew that. And then when you have the likes of Duffy and McElhinney and Dummigan coming off a bench, your quality levels rise, and Athlone just at that stage then were just a beaten team. But the main thing was getting through the next round, no injuries going into Thursday night, and it's all to play for now.
Is it the start of another run to the Aviva Stadium? Who knows, but they are in the hat for the last 16. The final score here at the Brandywell, it's finished Derry City 3, Athlone Town 0.
Thanks to Eric and to Liam. Liam will stay with us. We have about 5 minutes left on the programme. Elsewhere today, Luton 2, St Patrick's CY 3, Port Leash 0, Skerries 3, Derry City 3-0 winners against Athlone Town. Those goals from a Will Patching penalty in 23 minutes, Brandon Kavanagh 90 plus 3, Michael Duffy 90 plus 5. So Derry City are the 14th team into the last 16. It looks like Dundalk will be the 15th team into the last 16, as in fact they've just beaten Shamrock Rovers by a goal to 0. That game now has just finished there at Royal Park, and the last remaining game is Longford Town 0, St Patrick's Athletic 0. That game is at half-time. Elsewhere, the main talking points today, Brian Harmon, he's won the Open Championship at Hoylake. Looked a done deal from the last 2 days. He's been so far clear, but he kept his nerve and he did the job well. In the All-Ireland hurling final, Limerick made it 4 Liam McCarthy days in a row. They beat Kilkenny by 30 points to 215, and the fourth Ashes test at Old Trafford finished in a draw. The rain won the day there. Australia 214 for 5, still 61 runs behind England's first innings total, but the rain intervened. It didn't dry up and they didn't get playing, so the draw means that Australia retain the Ashes. Jonas Vingegaard, he's been crowned Tour de France champion for a second successive year in Paris today. Max Verstappen's won his 7th Grand Prix in a row with victory in Hungary. Lando Norris 2nd, Sergio Perez 3rd, Lewis Hamilton 4th. And Liam, just reflection briefly on this. Derry never ever looked like losing it, but again, a goal earlier would have made it a lot easier.
Well, we keep talking about it every week. That just seems to be an ongoing thing with them. You know, they just seem not to be killing teams off, you know, quickly, as quick as they should. And you know, and it makes hard work. But you know, fortunately enough, they played 2 teams who weren't good enough, you know, that day where they were never going to be under pressure. Thursday night, I think, their second half performance, if they had been playing against a better team, they might have been under a bit of pressure. But this today was just a matter of getting in the next round, getting the game over. Just took them a bit longer than it should have been.
Would Rory have had an eye on Thursday? Okay, he definitely had with the changes that he made at the start of the game. I don't think he'd have wanted to bring the artillery off the bench, but some boys needed a rattle because it was walking pace for a big part of the second period.
I looked at Athlone at one stage, Desi, and for about 2 or 3 minutes they weren't even running on the positions, they were just walking on it, and that was because Derry had got to a stage where it was just all too pedestrian, too slow, and they weren't turning Athlone round. So Rory said, right, that's it now. I've give you a chance here. I'm bringing on the boys that's going to change the game for me.
And Patrick McElhaney, without breaking sweat, pulled the strings there for the last half hour.
You give Patrick that much space there, he's going to do what he does, and that's picks out a great ball for Mickey, and even Duffy coming on, for the last 20 minutes. It was a good run out for Mickey just to get the leg stretched for Thursday night as well. But I think there's a few boys can't have any complaints when they're not on the team for Thursday night.
Liam Coyle, thanks for that. And of course Derry there in the hat, and they'll join, they joined Galway, Bohemians, Kerry, Cork City, Drogheda, Bray, St Pat's, Seaway, Rockmount, Finn Harps, Wexford, Waterford, UCD, Derry City, Dundalk, and either Longford Town or St Pat's. That's the teams that'll be in the draw on Tuesday night, that draw between 6 and 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. Well, that's it from Foyle Sportside for another night. Derry City, they've opened the defence of their FAI Cup with victory over Athlone Town here at Brandywell. Rory Higgins' men winning by 3-0. We'll have reaction to tonight's game on the Northwest Today programme tomorrow morning from 8:30, and we'll be back with Thursday night's Europa Conference League game against Kup from Finland. We're on air as always from 7:30. For now, however, from Darrell Harkin back in the BBC Radio Foyle studios, from Eric White, Liam Coyle and myself, Desmond McCallion, here at the Ryan McBride Brandywell Stadium. Thanks for joining us. Good night.